Hi, folks. Welcome back to another episode of the Saskatchewan Real Estate Podcast. Do you have questions about renovations? Today, we sit down with Andrew Hunter, CEO of Homes by Hunter, and we talk renovation. Hope you enjoy.
You're listening to the Saskatchewan Real Estate Podcast, where we chat with real estate experts from across the province to learn what's happening in the real estate market. Here's your host, Ron Quaroni.
Hello and welcome to the Saskatchewan Real Estate Podcast. My name is Ron Quaroni, your Saskatchewan mortgage professional, and very happy to be joined by Andrew Hunter today. And Andrew, we're talking everything renovation. So quickly, first off, thank you for joining us today. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your company.
Thanks for having me on, Ron. I'm Andrew Hunter, CEO of Homes by Hunter, your renovation specialist. We tackle everything from outside and in, from ground to roof. We everything residential we can tackle, no problem. We like to take pride in all of our work.
Awesome stuff. So Andrew, out of all the people I've talked to here on the podcast, you're probably one of the industries that's most affected by the rising cost of things. How are you currently handling that? And what are the things that are rising in cost for you?
The rising cost for building materials is all lumbers, really. So 2x4s, plywoods, and that can affect your home if you're building a brand new home. Renovations, it's affected with, your decks, your fences, some exterior, but there is some good news that a lot of these costs haven't really affected interior finishing. So, painting, mud, tape, baseboards. Baseboards have been affected slightly, but nowhere near your lumber costs. So there are ways to still have renovations done, but still keep that same pre-COVID price. So
when costs do rise on you, how do you handle that as the contractor or business owner? Is that something that you now have to price in some inflation into your prices, or do you just come back to the customer?
There is a slight adjustment there. However, our prices for labor costs have stayed the same, which is great. And we always have been competitive with our pricing. So I'm seeing now that, we haven't really gone up that much compared to other companies. And I don't want to put any other company down. I would never do that. But I've noticed that ours have been relatively reasonable. We work with great vendors, and we're thankful for them and for their prices. So
wonderful. What are the most common home renovations that you guys are tackling or that people are kind of doing right now?
Right. So you have your exterior for curb appeal and your interior for homey feels. Curb appeal, I think that's more of a seller's game. You want people to come up to buy your home and you want to see your home. And it needs to draw you in, right? Anything inside from a buyer's point of view can be done later, right? So we're talking siding, roofs, anything outside. That's kind of your exterior curb appeal there. Interior, that's your kitchens, bathrooms. People are wanting to do those, especially on the older homes you find. Everyone needs an update. And you spend a lot of time in these areas in your home, more than you probably think. So,
and definitely more now because of COVID.
Yes. Actually, there's many different things that the pandemic's brought on. There's offices, home gyms, anything to keep your mind occupied in your home. It doesn't have to be just a place where you sleep and eat. This can be a place where you explore your talents, your anything you want to do. This is your home and your biggest investment. You should spend as much time in there as you feel like you could.
Do you find people are personalizing their home a little more because of the pandemic now?
Yes. I find everybody has been sitting around at home, and they need they want to get these renovations done because they find these little imperfections that they never really noticed before because they're so busy in their day-to-day. But now, with seeing these problems, they want to have them fixed, and quite honest, they want to show off to their friends or what have you. But everybody wants to feel like their home is a home, not just a house, right?
And that might have been a factor if you have even both people who live in a home. If they're both working from home at the same time, it's tough to just keep working from the kitchen table. Maybe you do need to get that designated space built.
Definitely, definitely. And these places can be brought into a basement if it's unfinished very easily.
Rounding back to what you said at the beginning on exteriors of the homes, what's really popular right now in 2021? What are people really liking to put up, Andrew?
For siding, people are liking hardy board. It's a very long-lasting fiber board, like cement. So it's going to stand up to any Saskatchewan weather. And then you have your shingles. Most people are going with the double laminated architectural shingles, which has a better look than the normal 3-tab, lasts longer, and like I said before, you have that curb appeal with it, so it's quite nice.
What would be the life on those things?
About 30 years.
Wow. What would like a 3-tab shingle run you versus that other shingle?
About 20, 25, and that's if weather conditions are perfect, which, as we know, Saskatchewan is not. So
And does the pricing work in with that? That if you're going a little bit more for that extra shingle, then it's going to pay off for you?
yeah, and actually, you know what? The prices are relatively the same. We're talking a mere dollar or two difference on a bundle of shingles. Crazy,
Wow.
right?
So an investment now could pay off long down the line.
Definitely. Yeah,
Awesome.
for sure.
One thing I really wanted to touch on with you, Andrew, today, and a lot of questions we have, is around legal basement suites.
Mm.
Now, as a contractor, if someone comes to you, they have an unfinished basement, what goes into making a basement suite legal?
Well, your ceiling heights are, in my opinion, far most important. If you go down to a basement, you need to have at least, I think it's 7'1" above, and that's a good place to start. I mean, if you measure that and you're under, you know it's going to cost quite a bit to make that a legal suite. Other than that, your access egress, these are very important for if there's a fire, any emergency at all, you need to be able to get out quick. And I would say your ventilation and heating, that's very important. If you don't have the right furnace or the right HVAC system, I mean, you're going to create a whole bunch of new problems that you shouldn't have at all. So window wells, that's also an important one. And it's for the same reason. For lighting, one. For two, if there's a fire, a flood, something, and you're stuck in your basement, you need to get out safely, you and your family.
So do you see an uptick in the people who are looking for these types of things? As we see the rising costs of homes, people are looking for that little mortgage helper. Is this something that people are exploring more?
Definitely, definitely. It's a great way to make a passive income within your home, which also helps you on your mortgage application. This is probably the best thing you can do for your biggest investment of your life. If you think that you have an unfinished basement, you know you have an unfinished basement, and you think that there's a chance that this could be a basement suite, I say jump on it.
Is it something down the line that also makes it a little more resaleable if you do have that little
Certainly.
unit in the bottom? Like this is an income generator for you.
Certainly. And with, I feel like the new generation of home buyers is coming in, and not everybody can afford these $1 million homes or $500,000 homes. They need a generation or they need a income generator. Yeah, thank you.
Yep, excellent. So what are some of the ways that, you're looking to get something done on your place, Andrew? You're getting for that siding, you're looking for a quote on a basement suite. Is there a way that a regular person can vet contractors? It's one of those things it's hard to do. As a contractor yourself, is there something that folks can do to have like a little screening process?
Definitely. There's multiple ways. I always like to tell clients when I go see them, just so they know that I'm not yanking their chain or anything, and I'm on their side and I'm here for their best interest, to get 3 quotes from any contractor you like, any construction company. This is very important. Then you can compare apples to apples. And this is also a great way to meet the person who's going to be working on your home. You can ask some questions right there and then. You can also find out if they have good intentions, bad intentions, if they are professional, and if they're going to upsell you things you don't need, or they're going to inform you about the things you need and never thought about. This is all very good, important things. There's also reviews on social media platforms, your Google, your Instagram, Facebook, Yelp, anything really. You can find out within minutes right there if somebody's good or bad, BBB. There's also, but just about every city now is part of a BNI chapter. So, I mean, if they're part of that, you're in good hands. So,
as a person who goes and is getting those quotes for the contractor, you, Andrew, offer me $20,000 to get my roof fixed. The next guy, he offers to do it at half the price. What can we say about folks who maybe are offering a little too low, and maybe why it's not always the best to go with the lowest offer?
I am a big believer in never going with the lowest offer. This is somebody who just wants to wham bam, thank you ma'am, get the job done, and they don't really care about much else. If anything, you want to find the middle, the happy medium. You don't have to go with the highest one, but you can find out what the highest offer or what the highest quote was offering that maybe the middle one and the lower one weren't. So I think it's very important to vet the people in person, find out what they're offering you, and make your decision based on that.
Awesome. Just before we get to your contact info, Andrew, I want to ask you, if you could go back to a younger version of yourself and give yourself some advice, what would that advice be?
Oh boy, a younger version of myself. I would say take the plunge, believe in yourself, never give up, and make more bold moves. I always held back because I was too afraid to maybe lose what I had. But I found the fastest growth I ever made in my business and personal life is when I believed in myself, just made the move, trusted it, and dealt with the problems that came.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Andrew, someone out there is looking for a little more information on contracting. They're maybe looking at getting that siding done up. What's the best way to get in contact with you, and how can people stay up to date with you on social media and different avenues?
Okay, we are Homes by Hunter Inc. You can find us on Google. You can find us on BBB. You can find us on our Instagram and Facebook, just as the same handle, Homes by Hunter Inc. Or you can find me personally, Andrew LG Hunter or Andrew Hunter. I'll be the handsome looking fellow. Other than that, I also have a podcast that I'd like to mention, with your blessing, of course.
Go ahead. Yes.
When Opportunity Knocks podcast. We talk about success, how to start, how to maintain, and how easy it can really be to change your life and have exactly what you want when you want it.
Where can you find the podcast, Hunter?
On any platform. I personally like Spotify, though. That's me. But.
Are you interviewing folks? Do you have a co-host? What's the format?
It's actually it's a pretty fun little thing me and my wife and our good friend Paul do. I think if you take a look, you'll be drawn in and you'll want more.
Excellent. I look forward to checking it out. Awesome. Anything else to add before we leave you today on home renovation, contracting, building prices, before we let you go?
The best time is always now. Do not be afraid to change your home in any way that best suits you and your needs.
Awesome. Words of wisdom, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you very much. We really appreciate your knowledge and experience, and I look forward to checking out the podcast.
Thanks.
Thanks again to Andrew for coming on the program today. Really enjoyed his information. If you have a question about renovations, be sure to reach out to him. If you like this episode, hit the like and subscribe button. Until next week, I'm Ron Quaroni, your Saskatchewan mortgage professional.
This has been the Saskatchewan Real Estate Podcast. If you like this episode, find more information and episodes on our Facebook and YouTube pages. If you'd like to be a guest or have a conversation you'd like to learn more about, let us know by messaging the show on Facebook. Thanks for listening.